course.
You're the lost episode. Like,
I'm the lost episode.
You're my lost episode. So you're back to join us again.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna definitely have you reintroduce yourself for this episode of Diversity Chats. So I just want to welcome everybody for joining us on Diversity Chats, where we bridge the gaps of diversity and work together to destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. And am I coming through okay on your end?
Yeah. Is it echoing on your end or no?
Slightly, but I think it's fine. It records differently. You're good.
It records differently. Okay.
So, can you share your name to introduce yourself, please?
Yep, my name is Chris Stokesbury, and I'm a friend of LaQuisha's.
And I'm LaQuisha. Sometimes I forget to say that. Let me see. Where are you from, and where do you currently reside?
Where am I from? I'd say Washington State in Spokane. And where am I currently residing? In Richmond, Virginia. So coast to coast, baby.
Yeah, that's cool. And what are you and your wife out there doing? I know you guys were making prosthetics out here in Bakersfield.
We are. Yeah, we are making prosthetics. We were in Bakersfield. That's where we met LaQuisha. And now we just moved out here to Richmond, Virginia, not too long ago, about 2 months ago. And we're doing the exact same thing out here, making limbs and bracing and all sorts of different things that help people that need it. So that's what we do.
That's really cool. You got any cool stories from that experience?
Any cool stories as of right now? Let's see. I'd say my job, I work a lot with veterans, and Shay works a lot with children. So right now we're kind of on two different ends of the spectrum of our field, which is really, really neat. And so, when we get to talk at home about different patients, it's the full breadth of our field, which is really neat. Really, really neat.
Well,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. And then I wanted to know what ethnic group do you identify as?
Child of God.
Child of
God. No, if we're talking just basic, plain Jane, let's say African American and Caucasian.
Okay. And then what is your age?
26.
All right, cool. Did you stop counting after 21?
That's right.
Tequila.
That's right.
All right. So last time we were talking, you were sharing a story about you and one of your good friends. Tell us his name, Charlie?
Charlie, that's it. That's right.
Oh, remember.
Got that memory.
Sometimes it works.
That's right.
So can you share a little bit of that with us today? I love what you were talking about, some contagious behavior, good kind of behavior y'all were spreading through your school.
Yeah.
Want to share some of that?
Absolutely. Our friendship started freshman year of high school, and from there it honestly took off. And what I guess as I reflect, I was writing my speech for his wedding coming up next weekend. I'm one of the best men, so his brother and then myself. And so I'm writing that speech, and I was reflecting on it, and I was like, what was really the turning point of kind of how our relationship took off? And I would say the turning point is when we decided to not care about what other people think, right? And keep it in context, right? It's not like we were out doing the craziest things. Obviously, we're high school boys doing whatever high school boys do, but really it was the principle of it, and we started not applying those second thoughts to a lot of things, like this seems fun, seems harmless, and I'd like to do it. And so we would do it, and whatever that would be. Like, we saw a matching pair of purple sweaters at TJ Maxx where we both worked, and we're like, dude, we should get these shirts or these sweaters and wear them to school on Mondays and call it, matching Mondays. And so we did. And the first time, people give us a bunch of crap for it, and that's not a thing. And I think the phrase that we kind of stuck with was saying it's a thing. And that kind of, I guess that's the part where you were just touching on, which kind of turned things contagious, where I feel like that kind of ended the conversations with a lot of people. They would come out with something that would basically knock whatever you'd be trying to do. And you would just say simply, it's a thing. And at that point in time, there's no backing it up. You don't need to back it up. It stands by itself. It is what it is. And basically it was just kind of pointing out, this is truth. And I am the person that's bringing the truth and what exactly it is. So you can say this about it. You can say that about it. And life goes on. It was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I like it. So other kids in your school started adopting that behavior, like matching?
Yeah, I would say so. We did all sorts of different things. And it wasn't that like it all came down to just him and I, but rather I think it just kind of helped encourage other people to break out of their shells too. There was all sorts of different like little groups of people that would do this and do that, and I think honestly it was the encouragement to be yourself is really what started being so contagious. Not, I guess, kind of not second guessing yourself or not worrying about what. Basically not allowing those thoughts that we all have in our head that like, oh, I wonder what he'll think or she'll think or, It's just rather, do you like it? Is it harming anyone else? No? Go for it.
I like it. I like that you said you guys decided to not give that second thought a chance. How do you think that can be applied in our adult world, where we have these thoughts coming at us, we want to do what's right, but then we're like, oh, but someone's going to think I'm dumb, or someone's going to look at me weird, or whatever. Like, how do you just push through and do it?
For myself, I guess I'll just share exactly how I talk to myself. Is basically, I'll sit there and be real with myself. If I'm thinking those thoughts, exactly like if I use your examples that you gave, which was, oh, what will they think? Or they'll probably think this or something. I mean, if I'm going to be outright, I'm making an assumption. I'm thinking for the person, and that's not their thought. So I'm robbing them of an opportunity to do something different than what I'm thinking that they're doing. And so with that, I sit there and say, why wouldn't I? What would I want in that situation? I'd want a free opportunity to either think this or think that, right? One of them may be true, one of them may not be true, but ultimately, I don't want to rob that person of their ability to share what's on their heart or share what's on their mind. And so for me, that helped me calm myself down in my thoughts. I'd immediately shut them up, and that works sometimes. Other times, it's in the spiritual realm, legitimately, and where I'm like, you know what, I know that these thoughts aren't from you, God, because they're not lifting me up, they're not lifting anyone else up, and ultimately it's not leading us to a fulfilling life. And so at that point in time, that's where I usually just invite the Holy Spirit in and say, all right, you know what, I'm giving these thoughts to you, and in return I'm asking for your thoughts, and that I do that little exchange.
That's like that casting down any thought that tries to exalt itself above God. I always get the scriptures mixed up, but something like that, like the thought trying to dominate your subconscious.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I would love to see more. I know I use the word contagious, but you don't use that word. But I would love to see more of this kind of like ripple effect of good happen in the world. And I'm curious what you think about some ways that we can actually do that today, like as an adult, like when you go to the grocery store or when you go to, I don't know, I heard a story about you guys with skates.
Yep. Roller skates,
so
like the Sonic drive-through roller skates, not like the roller blades. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, the two in the front, two in the back kind of skate.
That's right, with the brake on the front, so you just drag the toe down and you're set for stopping.
I was a rollerblader, so like those skates messed me up because I was trying to brake the wrong direction.
Backward,
but, okay.
falling back, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel like well, I heard that like a really cool story about like how God just like connected you guys because of your just genuine personality to be like open and everything to people, just different people that you don't even know. And these chats are about getting to know people that maybe look different than us, or maybe we're just not used to talking to, finding out that we actually have similarities. How did that work out? Like, you guys were going to go do something, and then like you saw some people, or what happened?
Well, ultimately, what happened was how our friendship started was freshman year in high school, spring semester. Charlie was playing tennis, I was playing soccer, and we met each other in the locker room. And it took about like a week or so for our friendship to kind of start. I saw him one day. Neither of us said anything. The next day, then I was like, you know what? I saw that dude and I didn't say hi. And I don't know, it bugged me. And so I was like, I'm going to say hi tomorrow. So I was like, hey. And that was basically it. And Charlie just was like, hey. And that was it. And I thought, okay, the next day I was like, well, I'm going to say something else because I want more than just hey. So then I was like, hey, what's your name? Or something. So it kind of went like that. Basically, it took a couple of days, and then all of a sudden, we just started chatting. And oh, you play tennis, I play soccer, da 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 da. And then all of a sudden, I'm sure we probably just laughed about something. And then, long story short, he invited me over to his house, and I think from that point in time, it was just kind of this. It's definitely a God thing where that's the friendship that God really had for each one of us, and it took off from there. But I guess in the natural, at that point in time, it was just saying hi, and it was just keeping on, not saying, or I guess not letting those thoughts kind of stop me from trying again, if that makes sense. And for a lot of people, that's a huge thing, and I think that's definitely something that God has blessed me with, where it's not really a big thing. And I think there's definitely been things in growing up where my brother and sister and I, my uncles always had a camera around us, and so I think that's definitely helped. I can 100% say that that's helped with that, where we're not afraid to, someone has a camera, whatever. A lot of people might want to shy away from it, or I don't want to do anything like that, but I'll usually tend to go toward it and say, okay, what is it that you're trying to capture, type of thing. And so I think that kind of gives me the encouragement to try again.
Mm-hmm. I like that. You just said hi and you're persistent about it. You just couldn't shake it. You felt like you're supposed to build some kind of relationship with this gentleman named Charlie.
That's right.
And I think that's really cool. And, it makes me think about all the times I missed out on friendships because I was being bashful or shy or whatever.
Right.
Mine would have been like I was holding on to that second thought you're talking about, letting go of or ignoring. So I really love that there's been opportunities for me personally where I've said hi to people and seen like relationships build. And I just want to encourage everybody out there to keep pushing beyond your comfort zone, because there's really amazing people out there in the world, and you can miss them if you are either being hard on yourself or being hard on them. How do you feel like you deal with like prejudice? Like, have you experienced it personally, or do you ever find yourself being that way to other people?
Prejudice, definitely. Definitely. And I think in that regard, kind of combining the two last things, but then moving forward, combining the two last things of what you just said about pressing forward. I think the key for myself, at least, is the saying that Charlie and I also said, which was, what's the worst they can say is no. If you ask or if you go out and you press through like you were just encouraging everyone to do, the worst thing possible that someone can say is no thank you, or no, right, or rudely, no. right? With an attitude. Okay, no problem. Simple. One word, 2 letters is no big deal. What does that do to your life? Absolutely nothing. In terms of experiencing prejudice, absolutely. If you're experiencing a no and it's because of something, yeah, of course it hurts your feelings, whether it's because of the color of your skin, which nobody can control, or your gender, which also nobody can control, or your socioeconomic status, also can't control that. Like, none of these things that are these prejudice, nobody can control. It's your ethnicity or whatever, where you were born. If people could control where they were born, you'd see people floating around being tugged this way or that way because the baby in the womb is like, I want to be born over here. No, I want to be born over here. It wouldn't look right, right?
Yeah. I just see people like.
That's what I'm saying. You see drug over here and drug over here. You don't get to control it, right? You'd see mothers changing colors all the time, like blue and purple and red and black and white and brown. Like, you don't get to control it. It's something that's given to you, which I think really helps us set our perspective of how we should view life. It's not about what I can do for God or what I can do for him or her or the world. It's rather what God is already doing through us. You know what I mean? I think that like that shift is the big thing. It's like, oh, look at what all I did today. I prayed for you, and I prayed for your sister and your brother and your mother and your cousin, and I prayed for everyone. Look at me. And it's like I'm waiting for my pat on the back, when really it's look at what God did for me, reminded me to pray for you, and reminded me to pray for your sister, and reminded me to pray for your brother, reminded me to, it's like it came somewhere first. It didn't just start here. I think that's, I don't know, for me, that sets things back in order. It's not then about black and white or yellow and brown or guy and girl or money and no money or home and no home. It's not about that anymore. I don't know, that's just how I see it.
Yeah, it sounds like God simplified the decision for us, and he doesn't make mistakes. Like you're talking about people changing colors. If we were the ones deciding, like, it just makes me think how perfect God is. And the irony is that the thing that he made perfect, which is human beings, there's so much judgment, either internally or externally, against the perfect creation that God made. And I'm wondering how your thoughts about like self-love, like self-acceptance, stuff like that.
That is, it's tough for everyone. You can't deny it, right? It's definitely a battle. Why? Because we're first born into sin, whether we realize it or not, depending on where whoever's listening or watching or whatever, depending on where you're at with your faith walk with Christ, you either recognize that you're born and even in living in sin, or you don't recognize it, right? And at that point in time, if you're still, I guess, how do I want to go about it? Self-love. Excuse me, it kind of touches on what I was just saying before, where the love is already there. Whether you like it or not, right, whether you know it or not, the love is there. And self-love is all about realizing that it's already there, and realizing it's about me realizing that someone's already gone forth and done something for me. It's about me realizing that I am loved separate from what I do. I think because I do something bad, like, I don't know, I stole a pack of gum from the store. Therefore, now I'm separated from love. But ultimately, it's not my choice to separate myself from love. It's God's choice. And he said, love is here for you for forever. You either accept it or you don't accept it. And I think a lot of people maybe don't get it like that, but that's how it's simplified for me. So I think self-love for me is all about receiving rather than something I need to obtain. I don't know, maybe those are two wrong words to say. That's kind of what's making sense in my head right now.
Yeah, No, that's good. It sounds like it's a journey and a process that we all kind of have to take in order to operate in like learning how to receive love. I know personally that wasn't something that was easy for me to receive.
Right.
So it is like this reprogramming of certain minds, depending on your upbringing or depending on your experiences, and heartbreak or anything like that might confuse your understanding of a perfect God who loves you without you trying to do anything. He just wants you to just take this gift I have for you, and so definitely want to encourage people to take that journey and find themselves in a position of self-discovery and self-acceptance, and maybe when we do something like that, we're able to then be better at loving other people.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you have anything to speak on that?
Absolutely, because I know it's not mine. I'm loving you, loving my wife, loving my family, my best friends, whoever it is, from a love that is only mine as much as I receive it. Does that make sense? It's like I'm wearing a backpack on my back, it has a tank, and it's like if my tank's down here, I can only love everyone from that tank. But if I allow it to be, and it's like someone's constantly around, yo, let me fill your tank. And I'm like, no, I'm good running off a tank like this. And he's like, no, bro, I promise you, I'll fill it up to here. And I'm like, nah, leave me alone. I'm good right here. I can make it. I got 400 miles to go, but I can make it on this tank. And he's like, no, you're going to need 400 miles worth of love to make it 400 miles worth. And I think it's that recognition. That is the thing that's my choice, to allow someone, Holy Spirit, who's willing to pour that love in, so that then I can continue moving forward, rather than me being stubborn and naive, thinking that, I can move 400 miles on this little tank right here. I think that's where we get deceived in our heads.
Sure. It's like one of my favorite parables in the Bible about the 10 virgins, and 5 had enough oil for just what they thought they needed oil for, and then the other 5 had more than enough. And when they took a break or whatever, then the ones that ran out of oil went to go get more, I think. And then when the bridegroom called for the virgins, the 5 that were ready are the only ones that got to go into his presence. Right. So, there's this sense of there's a way that seems right to a man, but the end is destruction, which is scripture. It's like you think you know what you need, but God knows what lay ahead for your life. And so who knows who you're going to face? Who knows what situation you're going to experience for the day? And you might need a little bit extra grace than you realize, or love than you realize.
Amen.
But I enjoyed having this chat with you today. We're coming to our 30 minutes, but I'm going to do my closing. And then if you have any closing thoughts or encouragement, please share it. Mm-hmm. So we just want to thank everybody for joining us on Diversity Chat today, where we bridge the gaps of diversity and work together to destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. Chris, did you have anything else to say?
Yeah, one thing. This is from the Holy Spirit. He says, Jesus has already had victory over any issue, problem, worry, thing that could come up in your life, big or small. And remembering that and speaking that will give you confidence and will give you strength, will give you peace and encouragement to walk right in and through whatever that thing is. That's it.
Yeah. Like it. That's solid advice. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time. Tell Shan said, hey. And I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Thank you very much.